In this video, I want to give a brief sketch of a line of reasoning that I think can rationally lead a person to believe in God. I want to begin with a thought experiment presented by philosopher Andrew Locke. Suppose I have no money, and the only way for me to begin to have money is to get it from Justin. Suppose Justin has nothing, and the only way for him to begin to have money is to get it from Alex. If everyone is like this, no one would ever begin to have money. What is required is someone who does not need to get money from others and is able to have money. That is a first source of money. Now think about the nature of causality in the real world. I have no existence before I begin to exist, and the only way for me to begin existing is to be brought about by prior causes, my parents. However, they also have no existence before they begin to exist, and the only way for them to begin existing is to be brought about by prior causes, namely my grandparents. If everyone is like this, no one would ever begin to exist, just as no one would ever begin to have money in a series of debtors. What is required is something which does not need another thing to bring it about, and is able to bring about other things, that is, a first cause. So if we look at the cosmic chain of causes and effects, we see there needs to be a first cause that does not derive its existence from anything else. Then we might reasonably ask, what is this first cause like? Well, we can recognize that whatever this first cause is, it didn't begin to exist. If the first cause had begun to exist, then there must have been something that caused it to come into existence. But if something caused it to come into existence, then it wouldn't be the first cause. So we can recognize that the first cause is beginningless and therefore eternal. Well, the first cause had to also have been initially changeless. If the first cause was changing, then those changes would require causes. And again, we are talking about the very first cause here. So it's eternal and it's initially changeless. And another feature of the first cause that we can derive from these two is that it can't be material. The reason for this is that matter is always in a state of change and flux at the microscopic level. And as we just discussed, the first cause has to be initially changeless. So now we have an eternal, changeless, immaterial first cause. And at this point, I think there is another characteristic of the first cause that we can deduce. We have this question: if the first cause just existed eternally and changelessly, how does it make sense to say that the cause has always existed, but that the effects have not always existed? The first cause has to have the ability to initiate the causal chain, but it also has to have the ability to prevent itself from changing. Otherwise, it wouldn't be changeless. It seems like the only way to account for this aspect of the first cause is if the first cause is a personal agent who can freely choose to bring about a new effect. But if we're asking if the first cause is a person, I think we have other major reasons for answering yes. When we look at the universe that the first cause brought about, we see that it is ordered according to precise mathematical laws, and if aspects of these laws were different by just an incredibly small amount, no type of physical life could exist. As astronomer Fred Hoyle has remarked, quote, "A common sense interpretation of the facts suggests that a super intellect has monkeyed with physics," end quote. Thus, we have an eternal, changeless, immaterial, personal first cause.